by 2011, you end up joining TMZ as the tour bus driver. Or the guy, maybe not the driver, but the guy on the actual TMZ tour.
Yeah.
Now, was the TMZ tour already like in effect by this point, or were you one of the first people to kind of help put it together?
One of the first 3 guys of the TMZ tour.
There you go. So here you are, college graduate.
Mm-hmm.
You've been hustling in LA for how many years now? Like 5, 6 years?
6.
6 years.
Yeah.
You know, and I really want to point that out because people feel like, you know, it's just easy. You show up to LA, TMZ, you're on TV, it's just a fast track. No. 6 years of trying to figure it out, you know, dead ends, you know, low paying jobs.
2 years of unemployment.
Yeah. Because I guess you took the job because your unemployment just got cut.
My unemployment got cut.
Because you had a Gillette commercial, I guess?
Yeah, I got put into a secret Gillette commercial. I was on my way to the basketball court. Somebody asked me, they're like, yo, do you want to be a part of a survey? If you be a part of a survey, we'll give you $500. $500 was all the money in the world to me at that time, right? Especially when your unemployment is $450 a month. I do the little survey. They go, wow, you were really great. There's actually something that, you know, can actually be $1,000 if you actually go to Van Nuys, coincidentally, and do it. So I ended up doing it. Long story short, they were like, try all these products, like use this toothpaste to brush your teeth, use this deodorant, do all of this. And then after a while, you go in this room and you shave with this razor, and then we'll ask you what you think about everything. And then, you know, that'll be that. Well, while I was shaving with the razor, this guy jumps out and said, are you ready for the Gillette Fusion Pro Glide Challenge? Yeah. And like, how's that razor? And I'm like tripping. I'm looking around because when I got in there, I tried to get on the scale to weigh myself, and the scale was broke. And there were 2 guys, like there was lockers, and there were 2 guys wearing like towels. And I'm asking them, like, yo, man, why does this scale work? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what's the deal? And they made it seem like a gym, but it obviously wasn't a gym because I walked into the front of the building. I was on a set, and it was obvious to me, but I still didn't know what was going on. That ended up killing my unemployment because being the upstanding citizen that I am, I reported the income. So when I reported the income, it readjusted my income. Well, I thought I made a lot of money, right? But it readjusted my quarterly income to the day rate of the commercial. And it took my unemployment from $450 a week, which was completely livable at that point for me, to $75 a week. And when it was $75 a week, I'm like, yo, I got to find a job. So I go to entertainmentcareers.net, first job, TMZ tour guide. I look it up. I get on there. Boom.
Okay. So now you're a tour guide for TMZ.
Yeah.
How long from doing the bus thing to actually going to the next level at TMZ?
Like being on a television show?
Well, because you're a cameraman after that, I guess?
I was a cameraman for the first 3 years of TMZ.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay. So they took you off the bus and they give you a camera, and now you run up on people to interview them.
Wasn't like that. So what happened was I didn't have a car, right? So here's the thing. The tour bus, when it started off, it was only 1 bus, and it was 3 tour guides. Myself, a guy named Alex Getlin, and another guy named Keith Jordan. Keith was like the star tour guide at first, all right? But something ended up happening with Keith, a very funny incident, and then Keith lost his job. And so then Keith is great, but it was just funny. And so so after that, before then, we all had to share 1 bus, right? So they were scheduling tours, but there was only 1 bus for 3 guys. And I told them, I was like, yo, I'm not going to be able to sustain a life if I'm only working 1 or 2 days a week. You know what I mean? And they were like, okay, so this is what we'll do. We'll put you in the field as a field camera guy. Because at first it was like you could come in and PA around the office and all of that stuff like that. I was like, I don't want to really be a PA at this point, but you can be a field camera guy. So the minute that I started as a tour guide on the bus, I also was doing camera. So there would be 2 or 3 days a week that I would do tours, and then the rest of the days I would be on the street with my camera, but I didn't have a car, so I can only shoot 1 place. So I would, damn, I sound like a fucking loser. I was 31, no car. So I would go to either Bedford Drive or the Grove and just stay there all day and get shots.
Any crazy things happen along the way? Because, you know, I think about my style of interviewing, and we have our own location. The person comes in, they know they're going to be interviewed. They sit down, they sign a release form. There's, multiple cameras and microphones in their face. They know they're going to be here for about an hour to 2 hours. But running up on someone when they're just minding their own business and sticking camera in their face, and although I know that sometimes it's not real, like for example, when I did my first and only TMZ interview that you set up for me, it wasn't like you caught me in the street. We scheduled it.
Right, yeah.
We met and so forth.
I did that a bunch of times, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying, a lot of the TMZ interviews, you actually are catching people at the airport, catching people coming out of a restaurant.
95%.
There you go.
90 to 95%.
Yeah. Like I remember I interviewed someone for a job position of live TV recently, and they said how, they try to film Suge Knight, and they said they're TMZ, and Suge literally chased them around the parking lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
True story. So as you're running up on people with a camera and saying you're TMZ, which is not the most beloved platform on earth, you know what I'm saying? It's got its, its lovers and its haters. Did anything ever happen where you felt like, okay, this might get a little dangerous, or this is uncomfortable, or?
Lamar Odom interview.
Oh, really? I know. I've interviewed Lamar. Okay.
This was years later. So this was after I was finished being a camera guy.
Okay.
I was done being a camera guy by the time the Lamar Odom interview happened. So I was a camera guy for 3 years, and then I became a producer on television. The whole time, though, as far as me going from tour bus to TV, it literally was like I started with the tour in April. By, I think, June, I was on TV every day. And it was just the complete change in my life. I was on television every day. People telling you, hey, didn't know you're the guy from TMZ. Just changed that quickly. But no, so years later, after I had become a producer, because 3 years was then, we changed offices and I became a producer. TMZ had run a story about Lamar Odom. I was not yet, I don't think that I was in the office when they had run the story. Actually, I might have still been on camera at this point. Maybe I was off shooting and I hadn't come back yet. So maybe I wasn't a producer yet. But anyway, TMZ had run a story about Lamar Odom. I didn't even see the story. I didn't see it. So I get back to the office and I see people at Harvey's desk and they're talking. And apparently Lamar Odom had called the office. And he had called the office because he wanted to come into the office and directly challenge whatever the story was, right? Whatever the story was, he wanted to talk to them directly. He wanted an interview inside of TMZ to talk specifically about the coverage about him that was going on the website.
What was the coverage?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember what was being said, but this was the time when he was going through a lot of issues that he was having and stuff prior to what happened to him in Nevada. And, luckily, our brother did not pass away. But anyway, they were scared. Like, they didn't want him to come into the office, right?
Big guy.
Big dude, right?
7 feet tall, yeah.
They were scared, but they also did not want to not do the interview.
Right.
So, and this is how sometimes you get played too. So I walk into the office and they're like, yo, Van, do you want to interview Lamar Odom? And I'm like, hell yeah.
Not knowing.
I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. Hell yeah. I want to interview 2-time Lakers champ. You know what I mean? One of the nicest ever 6'10" ball handler, could pass, could shoot, could do all of this stuff. And he was like, well, just let you know, he wants to talk about some of the coverage of the site. I'm like, still, I've done it before. It's all great. It's all great. This is when I should have known that it was going to be a tough moment because they didn't want him to come inside. See, at first I'm coming in there and I'm like, okay, well, we'll just set up and we'll go do what TMZ Live is, or we'll go into the other room and we'll set up and we'll do an interview. We've done interviews in TMZ for people all the time. It's not that big of a deal. But they were like, no, we don't want him to come in. And I'm like, why? And they're like, he's a little, we don't want him to come in. We don't want him to come in. I'm like, oh, okay. So do you want me to drive out somewhere and shoot him somewhere? And they're like, no, he's still going to come here. I'm like, okay, so how are we going to do the interview? At TMZ, you could not film in the parking lot if you were from TMZ. There were other people that shared the space with them. So be it Microsoft or Verizon or whatever. And sometimes those people would have celebrities to come visit their spaces if they're doing a mocap, if they got a video game coming out or whatever. And they didn't want celebrities or people that were notable being shot by TMZ on the way in. So in order to get the space, TMZ had to make a deal with the place that said they would not shoot anyone. If you're a TMZ employee, you could not take any pictures of any kind in the parking lot. It was like a $10,000 fine. So Lamar Odom couldn't come to the parking lot. They wanted me to go across the street and shoot him in the Home Depot parking lot that was across the street from TMZ. And I'm like, just dumb. I'm like, all right, okay, cool. It's Lamar Odom. Like, I'll shoot him and talk to him. It's like, whatever, because once again, I've done interviews with people on the street that are kind of contentious, but I'm charming. I'm disarming. I can get you to, hey, man, it's me, Van, hey. And then, by the end of it, we're cool. That's how it always would work out. I remember I'm walking out of the building with my camera, and there's a security guard following me. And I'm like, yo, man, what do y'all think is about to happen? Because remember, I wasn't on the phone with Harvey when he was having the conversation with him. It's like, no, I'm just going to make sure, just walk you over across the street or whatever. I'm like, cool, whatever. I get into the parking lot. I'm looking for Lamar Odom. I don't see him. But then all of a sudden, I see him, right? Big, tall guy, like over the cars or whatever. And I say, yo, Lamar, what's up, brother? And he goes, you ain't my fucking brother. And I was like, oh, boy.
Here we go.
Here the fuck we go. Here we go. So I come over there. I give Lamar a mic. I mic up. Security guard is there. Now people see Lamar Odom. They recognize him. They're coming out of the offices from around. Everyone is on the street. Like the whole office park from the reserve, which is where TMZ is at, they come out and they start watching it. Everybody's watching it. Everybody's looking at it. And I give Lamar's mic, got his mic, people from the Home Depot, everyone's seeing it. And this nigga just let loose. He had a lot on his mind. And I'm trying to steer it. I'm trying to focus it. I'm trying to be like, yo, this, but fam. I said fam like a million times. I'm like, fam, come on, fam. I'm sure, but like, there's no fear, right? I'm like not afraid. It's a tense situation. And like you're in front of his face now. It's like, fuck it, whatever happens. Like it's I'm not tripping on that. Like I'd agreed to do it. But I'm like trying to get to because he's just going off. He's like, y'all fucking up my life. Y'all fucking up my career. These women are fucking up my life. These women are fucking up my career. I remember he said, nobody dribbles a fucking basketball better than me. And they took my whole career away from me. And that was the first time actually that I stood face to face with somebody that gave me the rundown of how coverage can affect their actual life. It was the tension kind of melted away because after a while, he wasn't mad anymore. He was sad. He was emoting. He was like, God damn, y'all don't see what's going on with me. Like I'm in a tough fucking spot. And this is the way this is being put off. And I have nobody out there that's putting my side of it out there. So that's probably the craziest because at the beginning of it, I didn't know whether or not he was going to swing on me or not. He seemed pretty upset. Now, I shouldn't expect that he would do that. He's never swung on anybody in any type of situation he's ever been in before. But like, we was out there in the middle of it, in the deep water. So if all of them, and they put me in that situation knowing that that's the way it was going to be. And me trying to be the motherfucking good-ass company, man, stupid-ass dude. Like, I'm out there doing that shit. So that would probably be the craziest one.